guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and I am joined in this video by James, aka the Comic Book Savant, for a discussion about theatrical loyalty programs. In my case, specifically the AMC A-List program. James, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just enjoying the day.
So we have done a previous video about the theater versus the home theater experience, and I'm going to put a link right up in here for people to click that. But we had that conversation a few months ago, and I know I myself personally came off like a very grumpy old man, because I was like, basically saying, well, I've gone from years ago I used to go to the theater twice a week or 3 times a week, and now I go 2 or 3 times a year, and the theatrical experience sucks, and everybody sucks, and the movies suck, and it's just not as good as that was never what I intended to say, but that's kind of what I said.
All right.
And so you talked about the program at your local theater, the movie studio grill, right?
Studio Movie Grill, and then I talked about my experiences because MoviePass. I had MoviePass for a year as well, so I talked about both a little bit. But
you had a very different experience. You were coming from a different place on that.
Totally, and it kind of shed some light on some stuff for you, which then kind of swayed you to try.
I got comments, and people were like, "I really think you should try out the A-List because it's not that bad." And so I put my money where my mouth is, and basically from like 2 weeks after that video, I have been subscribed to the AMC A-List, which is basically you pay. I pay $20 a month. It's $22 after taxes, like $21.95 after tax. I can see 3 movies a week. I can see the same movie the same day. I could see, like, if I wanted to see Spider-Man Far From Home, I could see it 3 times in one day. I get 3 movies a week, and so it has been a nice experiment, an interesting experiment to see, was I right? And by actually going to the movies more, how has that changed? So this is essentially my report on being a part of the AMC A-List, which for other people would be MoviePass or for whatever their loyalty program is. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And I got to say, like you and I have talked about it off video, it has been a mostly positive experience. Okay. I don't think anything's as bad as I thought it was, but so I'll say, seeing movies, when you take the pressure away from a movie, when you take the investment away from a movie, where it's not, well, it's $25 to take just me and my wife to go to the movies, it's $25 to $30. If you take that away and you take the whole, basically that, like the investment of time, the investment of money, the high risk, the high entry, everything kind of just feels a lot nicer, and it feels like I'm able to appreciate movies on their terms and not on my terms.
Exactly.
I'm able to meet them where they are. What about you? So are you currently doing any subscription services, movie services?
Well, with Studio Movie Grill, they don't have a subscription-based service like A-List yet. Because we go there so frequently, we talk to management. That's in the works. We're trying to figure out how to do the best program, and since we've seen more sprouting up, I think Carmike has one that's getting ready to roll out. It'll be something that I think it's coming. They have a loyalty program where you earn points to then redeem to get gift certificates that you can use for tickets. It's a dine-in theater. It's for tickets or food, which we're just about to renew that. It's been a year since that program started. We joined immediately, and I enjoy it. It's different from my experience that I had with MoviePass because it was similar to you. Now, I was in that window of MoviePass when it was $9.99 unlimited. You could go to a movie a day. Mm-hmm. That did not last long, but we had it for like a year. I had it for almost a year because it was the very last few months of that year's subscription, because we did annual subscriptions to lock it in. Because I think it was not $9.99 for us for doing the annual. It was $6.95 a month. So we got the whole thing for like $70 for the year, and we got way more than our money's worth.
Yeah.
I doubled, almost tripled the amount of movies I saw from 2017 to 2018. That year that I've seen from 2018 to 2019. Since I haven't had it, it's dropped off dramatically because now like you said, you have the pressure again of it's an investment, and it's that gamble of risking to see certain movies where I didn't have that to worry about, because it's like I pay that subscription, at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. I have whatever amount of movies to go see. So whenever we had an urge, we went. and we enjoy more movies than not. With that, because it takes the pressure off of it, like you
Yeah.
said, and that means a lot with the movie going experience for sure.
It's not fair to a movie to go in with a set of expectations. Well, you can't help expectations, but to go in with like a grudge or like okay, entertain me movie. I mean, we all want to be entertained, but you got to come in. You got to come in kind of open to. I'm noticing this a lot lately. This is probably a whole separate topic, but people watching movies and demanding that movie be what they want it to be, and not accepting the movie that it is, and expecting it to be what they wanted it to be, and that's never going to work out for anybody. But we do live. You and I have done a video about comic book movies. And there's so much like expectation in these things, and like, well, I want this to be so and so, and I need this to be so and so, and that's not a good way to go to the movies. I have a friend, Patrick Bromley, the founder of F This Movie, who says, watch a movie twice, watch it once for what you thought it was going to be, and then watch it a second time for what it actually is.
Right.
And I agree with that.
I totally agree with that as well. It's hard not to have expectations, because it's like you said, it's a return on investment that you want to feel like that was a good a good cost of my time and my money, that I felt like I got my money's worth. I just had experience with that recently, from X-Men Dark Phoenix to Secret Life of Pets 2. I felt like I got my money's worth with one, and the other one, I'll let you guess which one is which. And then the other one, I felt like I could have just waited for that to come out on home video and watched it, and still enjoyed it just as much as I did. Not that it was bad.
Right. It just wasn't like, if you paid $30 for that,
right,
it would not have been.
Exactly.
I'm with you 100% on the same movies too.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that completely. Yes. So I don't know. For me, the AMC A-list has been really, I don't want to say like game changing, because that might be slightly overstating it, but it kind of has, because
it is. Just your reaction from it, and I from having a similar experience with MoviePass, like, God, if they were a more stable company, like, I miss it, because just the freedom of being like, we would be like on a weekend where we kind of sit around and be like, oh, that we could kind of go see something. But it's like, well, do we really want to spend that money? Because we can use that money for something else. And then it's like, we just would go. It's like, hey, let's go. Okay, well, I will get the tickets. Boop, boop, and we were to the movies,
Yeah.
So it's a certain kind of freedom that it makes you get back in that kid mentality that we had of going to the movies.
Just excited to go to the movies, because there's no investment in it. I mean, it's $20 is not free.
It's a minimal investment so what it normally would be to go to a movie. What you're paying for one movie, you pay a month to go to three movies a week.
Up to 12. It'd be like 12
movies a month.
So basically the price of going to one or two.
One movie. Yeah. You can't beat that. That's a really good deal. Like I said, I'm not crazy about the AMC theaters around here, and I love, like, it was the first theater she took me to, and it was my first dine-in experience, and like they're a semi decent sized franchise of movie theaters. They're mainly in Texas and sprinkled out throughout other places in the country. And even with the theaters here, we've gone to multiple of their theaters. Now they're revamping, putting in the recliners, and where they've totally redone all of their movie theaters in the area. And so they're invested. I thought, like, they were getting kind of coming down, and a lot of people were going there, and they were like, they switched it up. They were like, before, like, leading into this summer, they start our main theater we go to now. They went through theater by theater, totally redoing them, and they're beautiful now, in this up-to-date, modern. And it was like, okay, I'm good, like, I'm locked in, So it does mean a lot to that experience, the experience you have. But because I've heard so many good things, in your experience with AMC, is like, I wish it was better AMCs. Ones I've seen here and saw reviews for, they have had horrible reviews. So it just makes me squeamish on it, and about trying to invest in it when I already know I could go to a good theater and always have a relatively good experience.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's what I have to say. So AMC has bought up all the theater chains in our town. We had Carmike's. Carmike got bought by AMC in our town. AMC basically owns just about everything in our city, and while going to see the movies has been really nice, I do have to say that there's no accounting for the people experience itself. So it's kids running these things. It's always teenagers, and they don't care, and they're not gonna care. And there's people out there that are watching this that are gonna say, well, they're teenagers. Why should they care? They're making $7.25 an hour or whatever. Why should they care? Well, I was never that way. I got a job the day after I turned 16. I was happy to have a job. I had to pay for my car. I had to pay for my gas. I had to pay for my insurance. I just wasn't raised that way. Like, I had to account for myself. I had to conduct myself professionally. So I don't necessarily give the slack for, like, you know, if I order you a popcorn and I say no butter, you bring me buttered popcorn. Like, now we got a thing. I'm not just going to take it.
Now we got a problem.
Now we got a problem. Just pay attention and basically it all comes down to that. Just pay attention. So the problems that I have had have been with teenagers that just don't care.
Right.
Also, I will say that the consistently disappointing experience about the theatrical experience for me, when you take away the movies themselves and like our movies worse than they used to be? I don't think they actually are. I think maybe there's more of them. Sometimes they could be more disposable, but whatever. When you take away the movie experience itself, what you're left with is the people in the theater. That still sucks. You can't. No subscription service is going to make people behave better. And I mean, like 80% of I go 2 to 3 times a week now. I'm seeing these movies. That's why these 5-minute reviews come from. 80% of the time, someone is rude in the theater. Someone is selfish in the theater. Someone is talking. I went to see Shazam the day that Avengers Endgame opened because I thought if there's no better time to see a DC movie than the day that Avengers Endgame opens. And so I went in there and I was thinking I was going to be all by myself. Nope. These super redneck guys came in. They were talking to the screen. They were talking to me. I was like, we're not talking. I'm watching a movie. Mm-hmm. People are ridiculous. Yeah. And that seems to be, listen, I get people talking about, like, internationally. I have people in Europe that tell me, oh, it's the same here. We just collectively as a human race are not very considerate anymore. Yeah, and right. I guess there's just nothing for that. That is still a downside to the theatrical experience.
Yeah, I know places like Alamo Drafthouse are very strict. Like, if you pull your phone out, they will usher you and kick you out of the movie. I've heard a lot of stories about that. It's some in this area that we said we're going to eventually go to. Studio movie are like, because it's it's considered a little bit higher end. Mm-hmm. You have very little of that, if any of that, in the theaters. You might get it like maybe before the movie starts, but once the movie starts, everybody's kind of like locked in. Now, with certain things where I feel like people take small children to movies they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So, like, you shouldn't have took a little baby to go see Shazam. It's a few scenes in there that are a little not for
a child's play.
Right. It's like certain things you should maybe screen that first before considering taking a child. Yeah. A small child. Like, now, if they're a proper age, it's something totally different. And that's a whole other conversation.
It's like, get a babysitter or just take the kid to the movie. And people are always, not always, but a lot of people are just going to take the kid to the movie and let them scream.
Yeah, and that part is annoying, and I've even experienced that, even with a relatively good experience. But it happens less likely, and it's for bigger blockbusters, like maybe like a Endgame, Infinity War, that they just want to see it so bad, they're just going to drag the kids along, and it can be somewhat disruptive. Mm-hmm. But all in all, I haven't had the people talk to the screen and stuff like that. Like you had that, like that would grate on me. But I had that before coming to Texas and North Carolina. At some of the theaters, you got that kind of that from people in the audience, which made me pull back from going to movies as much, as I have in the more recent years and before that point.
Yeah. Well, I guess in conclusion, I would just say that I love the experience. I'm so glad that I did it. I said I was going to try it for 3 months because that's the minimum that they will let you sign up, because they want to make sure that they're not getting taken to the cleaners by you. Okay. So they make you sign up for 3 months in advance. But I'm just going to keep going with it because it has been so affirming for my love of movies to get out and see these things that you wouldn't necessarily take a risk on at $20 or $25. Now, Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, I'm like, I got a little bit of time before people are going to be home for dinner. I'm going to go see this movie. And then you head out. By the way, I should say, if you're interested in the A-list, the program you get, everything is like assigned seating at all our theaters. So you pick your seat ahead of time. Mm-hmm. You can, but you buy all your tickets through the app online. So there's no convenience fee or anything like that. And if you have so like Bree does not have the A-list, it's just me. But if I buy her ticket through the reward service or through the service, there's no fee whatsoever. All fees are waived for that. You get a size upgrade on your popcorn and on your soda. So if you pay medium price for the large, so that's kind of cool. It's only like $1, but it's nice.
Mhm.
You can cancel, you can reschedule. It just gives you flexibility and it gives you convenience. It's really worth it. So if anybody's on the fence about it, it's kind of made me love going to the movies again.
And that's a
Again,
good thing.
no accounting for the people, but
Right.
that's everywhere. I mean, it's not just at the movies;
Exactly.
it's
It's
everywhere.
not an isolated situation. That's an
Exactly.
always situation because you got to account
Exactly.
for. You can't account for that. That's a unaccountable variable or unknown variable is what the people are going to be in the theater. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love it. It has completely brought my my love of. I feel like a teenager again because I would go all the time when I was younger. When I was like 19, I was always at the theater, and now I am again, and it just feels good. It feels good to be a part of that again as a movie fan. So
Yeah.
hopefully you guys get some sort of a program like that at your theater soon,
Yeah.
or they get bought by AMC.
Please no, because I feel like it might go downhill at that point. No.
No. All right. Well, tell people where they can find Comic Book Savant.
You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/comic book savant. You can find all my other information primarily on my website, which is comicbooksavant.com.
And I'll say that if people are enjoying conversations like this between you and I, we do this on your podcast quite a bit. We call it Spinner Rack Bros, and we have done 6 or 7. How many have we done?
Yeah, about that much. Yeah, it's kind of been a blur now because we
Yeah.
do things there and here. So we're constantly pumping out content. More to come. You
But
might
long
start
form is what.
more long form than what we do here. And we're going to be looking into doing some videos for my YouTube channel as well, doing more comic book related talk because not everybody here is into the comic books as much as I am. So we understand that. And I have to say, give a shout out to the community for all you guys showing so much love from these videos that we do, coming over to my channel, letting me know you saw me on Serial at Midnight and becoming active participants in my community as well. I appreciate all you guys for your support with that as well. I definitely want to make sure I put that in there.
No, that's great. That's fantastic to hear. All right, so I guess we'll put a pin in this one for now.
Yeah.
So check out comicbooksavant.com and weigh in on the comments below on this topic. I know I got a lot of feedback. That's one of our more popular videos. It's got a few thousand views. People, the digital versus home theater versus home theater. People had a lot of opinions about that. So let's continue the conversation here below. And if you guys are on the fence again, I really think it's worth looking into. So thanks for hanging out with us, talking about the theatrical experience, these loyalty programs. So take care, and until next time, we will catch you later.